All right, let's look at what Reddit has to say about photography. I'm sure this won't be the worst thing I've ever done. Can we please let editorial wedding photography die already? I'm honestly so over the editorial wedding photography trend. It's the same list of staged, lifeless shots everywhere you look. A bride and groom in harp-shaped glasses, bridesmaids holding a mock newspaper, Mary and John are getting married. Champagne tower chaos with direct flash and blown highlights, groom sitting on steps pretending to unwind with his bow tie undone, wonky and blurry photos with heads being cut off, rinse and repeat. Where's the creativity? Where's the individuality? And before anyone says it, I'm not some old dinosaur stuck in the past. My style's evolved constantly over the years. I'm always trying new techniques, experimenting with lighting, color, and storytelling, and I'm all for pushing creative boundaries. But this editorial thing isn't evolution or creativity, it's replication. Everyone's copying the same Pinterest mood board and calling it art. And don't even get me started on the ones calling themselves documentary editorial. Those two words couldn't be more opposite. One means capturing moments as they happen. The other is posed to death with every detail pre-staged for aesthetic. You can't document something you've choreographed. It's like calling yourself a natural light flash photographer. Pick a lane. I'd honestly rather lose clients than water down my work to fit the current mold. I want to create images that actually feel/mean something and not just look like every other wedding photographer on Instagram. Anyone else hoping this phase dies off so we can get back to genuine artistry and originality again? Holy shit. No. Who the fuck cares? Again, this is another one of these Reddit mentality of being so much better than everybody else. Why are these photographers doing this style? Like, let it die. You're not replicating. You're not creating anything. Yeah, they're doing it for a job. You ever think about that? Like, when you think of it like the bride and the groom, they have a certain style they want. They find a photographer that can meet that style, and that's transactional. Like, yes, you can have the passion. Yes, you can have the art and the creativity, but your art isn't. You have to have a disconnect between what is artistic and what you like versus what the bride and the groom want and what they're paying you to do. They are your client, and your job is to deliver what the client wants. Because for the client, looking at these photos, for them, if they say, hey, this is the style I want, low shutter speed, blurry photos, if you don't want to do the work, then you can say, hey, I don't want to do that. And they'll find another photographer. There's a million photographers. You can be as fucking pretentious as you want, but like, who the fuck cares? Hey, we even got, that's even what the comments are saying. If you don't want to shoot that, then don't. Like, nobody is telling you have to do a style. The only person that sets your style is you. Good camera bag. I have a Godspeed duffel camera bag and an older Langley backpack. While I use them both, they are not perfect for my use case. The Godspeed one cannot pack all the equipment I need, and the Langley one is tedious if I need equipment easily available. It's an older version of the Alpha Globetrotter XC, looks beautiful though. I've seen many ads for camera bags, but as I have no idea what actually is good quality, I want to fit 2 camera bodies, 2 lenses, and a flash for the most part. Okay, I'm going to interject, that's basically any camera bag. You can do a messenger bag or a backpack. Both of those should be able to fit 2 bodies and 2 lenses. I guess it depends on what lens mount you use. It depends on what size lenses you're using, but whatever. I do love the idea of those backpacks that zip open when placed down and just reveal everything. But again, see so many ads for different ones, like the Langley Multi-Globetrotter. I don't live in a country where I can buy most brands at a camera store, so I need to buy online, and so that's what I'm asking. If there are any brands you guys swear by, let me know. Smiley face. I think this comment is worth reading here. Peak Design is for poser wannabe photogs. All pros use Lower Pro, Tenba, Tamrac, and Think Tank, period. All the rest won't hold. I beat on my Lower Pro bags. I have 2 bags I still use from film days. Photo Trekker AW and Nova 5, I got a replacement 450 AW bag built to last. Those Peak Designs are wussy bags who want to look cool while everyone that'll look, but pros don't want to look anyone looking at their bags. What? I'm not reading all this. You think his wife left him for a photographer that uses Peak Design or something? Like, I'm just gonna say this flat out. Nobody fucking cares what your camera bag is. All the pros, this guy saying like the pros I know won't use those, or they're not pros if they use this or whatever. Nobody fucking cares. This guy's asking for bag recommendations. He's not asking you to trauma dump on him because your wife left you. Okay, I get it. You don't like Peak Design. I do use Peak Design. This is one of my bags I've got. Not gonna get into it. I really don't. I use the Peak Design messenger bag, and then I also have a Peak Design backpack. Both are the older ash color that turns yellow. So I probably will replace them. I'm not gonna replace them because they work and they're good. Like, wussy, I beat on my bags. Like, okay, like this bag's not gonna last me 20 years, sure, but it's quick. It's weatherproof. It is fine. It's perfectly fine. I got it used. Like, there's nothing wrong with buying what you like because you have to look at your bag. You can be like, oh, well, I don't want people looking at my bag. Yeah, but you have to look at it too. You know, so you don't have to have something flashy, but have something that you like. Materials are good. Materials are good enough quality. Don't let that bother you. Put 2 bodies in there, 2 lenses. I actually fit 3 lenses in there with 2 bodies. But that's not the point. The point is that this guy was looking for a bag, and this guy just went the most fucking, gave him the most Reddit goddamn answer in the world. Alright, on to the next one. Videographer killed the vibe. I just wanted to share my experience with a videographer recently. From the start of the day, I knew it was going to impact client experience. He set up a tripod right where MOG, I assume that's Mother of Groom, I've never used abbreviations like that before, was going to sit, after telling him it would get in her way. She had mobility issues and tried to squeeze it by to get to her seat. He then had a tripod mid-aisle and refused to move it for the whole ceremony. Love to get a wide shot, so whatever, I just edited it out. Yep, because we can do that and videographers can't. Fast forward to toasts. He set up a giant, I'm talking 4x5 softbox that totally killed the candlelit vibe. I get that he needed some external light, but come on. I was fine with natural light at 1600, so he should have no problem. If you're shooting at 1600, I don't think it's candlelit. Also, like, I'm not going to jump in and defend this videographer, but what was he using? I think that's important to know. Like, should he have done that? Probably not. I mean, the answer is no, but, like, what is he shooting on? Is he shooting on, like, an FX30 with APS-C? Like, you know, I wish this person would have given more information on what he was shooting on, because you can be fine with natural light at 1600 with a 1.2 prime, right? Like, you can be, just because your settings are good at that doesn't mean that his are. And doesn't mean that his camera can do it. If you're shooting on a medium format, cool. You know, if he's shooting on APS-C, maybe not. I think a lot of career photographers sometimes forget that video cameras are lower megapixels, typically lower resolution, APS-C. Some are, you know, you got the Panasonic Micro Four Thirds. There are full frame ones now, but you know, you're typically working with smaller sensors because they need to be faster for electronic shutter, and you know, you have to understand that there is going to be a difference in what light levels are required. Anyway, we'll jump back into this guy here. Then it happened. Tripod directly in front of the mother of groom. The groom said, "My family can't see. Can you please move that?" He didn't. He asked again. Finally, the mother of groom grabbed his arm and politely said, "I can't see me son." I guess she was Scottish. I don't know why he wrote it that way. His response? This is how you're going to remember this from the video. I'm the videographer. It's me. I'm the videographer. You're gonna remember this from the video, from watching me, not from anything else. I'm the most important person here. I was appalled. I later approached the MOG and apologized, telling her we weren't affiliated and I had never worked with him before. How are vendors so oblivious to client and guest experience? How are they getting booked? We need a Yelp that actually tells clients what some of these vendors are like. Yeah, I don't know. When I work with a videographer, it's usually somebody I know. I know that, I have specific videographers that, like, if I am selling video that I'll hire, I'll say, hey, you're on, I've been lucky to not have too many experiences working with people I wasn't necessarily affiliated with. It has happened. When I'm working with a videographer, I typically don't use flash because the flash can affect some of the video shots. So it's something that you're working out with the videographer beforehand, which is why, again, I want to work with specific videographers, and those videographers also want to work with specific photographers. It's just you get synergy. You know where people are going to be. You can communicate better. Situations like this suck, where you're the photographer and they hire a third-party videographer that you've never worked with. As a photographer, you need to remember that you can edit them out. They can't edit you out. We had a situation where there was a family friend who was a photographer, and he had this super nice Fujifilm camera, and he was bouncing flash, and then we were getting shots of the family, and he pushes me aside and bounces and points his flash directly towards me. And that was the point where it's like, we are paid here to do a job. You're some guy that showed up with a camera. I'm a professional. This is my job. And when stuff like that happens, and there's that level of aggression or aggravation, that's when these situations can go sour. I was chill. I was like, hey, watch your bounce that thing, whatever, and trying to be nice about it. But there's you have to be. It's so hard with creative professionals, because I think some people are just in their own heads that they know best, and you don't. I don't always know the best. I'm not the best. Right? I think you have to put yourself in a situation of realizing that when you're a vendor at an event, that's any event, not just weddings, it's anywhere, you are representing yourself, you're representing your brand, but you're also there to represent whoever has hired you. So if you're hired by a corporation, even though you're not technically affiliated with that corporation, you're still representing them in the best light that you can. If you go to a corporate event and somebody that's unaffiliated with the event gets in your way, like a guest or somebody, and they get in your way and they ruin your shot, and you get upset at them or you yell at them, now the event coordinator is going to look bad. Now that company is going to look bad, and that event is going to look bad. You need to take yourself out of these situations, because you're never the most important person in that room. You're there to document. You're there to do a job, just like every other vendor is. You're there to do a job. You're there to work around situations that might happen, and you're paid to be professional. And I think, with lighting like this, photographers upset about the lighting and stuff like that. That's stuff that videographer should have told them about, and should have talked to the bride and groom about. Whether that was talked about beforehand is impossible to know from this, but there's no way to, these are things that you need to remember. If you are a videographer, you need to understand that, hey, you might have to work in low light situations. Are you prepared for that? Is the client okay with you bringing in light? Typically they're not. You remember that too. If you're somebody that requires a lot of external light, some events aren't going to let you do that. You're going to have to just work with what you have. It's just part of the whole vibe. They have a very specific vibe. He obviously ruined it with his 4.5, 4x5 softbox, but did the bride and groom say that was okay? We don't know that from this story. I mean, the videographer is obviously wrong. but the photographer is not giving me enough information to say that the videographer was 100% like the worst fucking person in the world, right? I can tell that if I worked with a videographer and they acted this way, any level of communication that I had with them, I would not be very happy with them. But if they had also spoken to the bride and groom about what they were doing specifically, the bride and groom are your boss on that day. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like, if the bride and groom said, we love it when videographers shoot on APS-C at f4 and need to have a softbox. Like, if they say, hey, we love that, then I don't get to say shit. So I don't know. We'll assume the videographer sucks and move on. Cell phones. Oh, God. Does anyone add something in their contract about not using cell phones or other random cameras during the ceremony or at any other time that might distract the photographer? It's honestly starting to drive me crazy that people have no consideration. No, everybody's going to have their cell phones out. Everybody's going to be recording it. Get over it. Like, what? You're not the most important person there. You are a person documenting it. Like, what are you going to do? You see grandma pull out a cell phone and try to film, her granddaughter getting married, and you're going to be like, put that shit away. Get the fuck out of here. Like, you're not going to do that. That's so stupid. It's the dumbest fucking thing. Like, every shoot I've been to, there's a cell phone, or there's an Apple Watch, or there's something lighting up that is distracting. You know what you do? You focus on you focus on your composition, you focus on your shots, you focus on making sure that you're not missing those moments. And you don't give a shit that somebody pulls out a cell phone, because you should be focusing on what you need to be doing. Like, I actually sometimes will take photos of the cell phones, of like people holding up the cell phones, because it still is an aesthetic and it's still part of the moment that happened. And you can't escape it, so you have to embrace it. Every single person has a cell phone in their pocket, and so many people love to film that stuff. And sometimes the bride and the groom like that video better than the professional videographer. So, no, that's ridiculous. Wedding photography is done wrong. So this is not to criticize wedding photographers, not entirely, but to share my observations after doing one whole wedding. After doing one whole wedding as a photographer. Oh God, I'm in for it, aren't I? For context, I think it's important to say that I am an experienced photographer. All right. Just not in weddings. I mostly do studio or outdoor portrait / editorial stuff. Okay, so you're not the right person to do this. You're not the right person to make any comments on how weddings should be done. You're not an event photographer. You're not a documentary photographer. You're not a photojournalist. You're not experienced at all in shooting anything that is outside of your curated vision. Okay, let's see where this goes. So the hot take, he knows it's a hot take, is that weddings are done wrong. They follow an outdated format. On this pretty mild wedding, there were 2 videographers and 2 photographers who were constantly running around to keep up with the schedule and document everything. Weddings nowadays are a 70% photo shoot. The rest is food and, I guess, protocol, except that they're very inconvenient to shoot at. Weddings are a 70% photo shoot? What the fuck? What wedding is a 70% photo shoot? Like, what? Okay. It's alright, he's got ideas on how we can reform this. My reform would be to come to peace with this fact and just go with it. Treat it as a photo shoot for most parts. Okay, it's not a photo shoot. A wedding is a ceremony between. Oh, you know what? Wedding venues should have lighting or even proper strobes. The table shouldn't be in the middle because that's where it would be best to shoot from. People should pause and turn towards the camera at important moments that they want the photographer to capture. They should also not rush through important moments. In general, the space should be organized in a way that the photographers are not doing a crouch run between the seats, but have a proper way of taking position for the best pics. There's one more paragraph. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's also much more reasonable than dropping thousands of dollars on a small team of people who all have circumstances working against them. Of course there are brilliant wedding photos, but imagine the results if it could be done properly. Additionally, it would take a few hours, and for the rest of the event, it could go normally. Then just do an engagement shoot before. So if it's 70% photo shoot, but it would only take a few hours, and the rest of the event can go normally. No. That's the dumbest fucking take. It's alright, he's looking forward to being called an idiot. I'm assuming this is rage bait, and I am taking this goddamn rage bait. Holy shit. So, this is somebody who has never done wedding photography, never done event photography. They've done portrait work, which has its own challenges, but studio, portrait, editorial stuff, like that's all. I've done editorial stuff, but editorial typically was more documentary stuff. I don't know why he has outdoor portrait / editorial, because I'm assuming that the work he's done and the way it seems like he wants to shoot is that he's very much like it has to be done choreographed shots that are set up perfectly so everything's perfectly composed. And a couple things. That's not how a wedding works. That's not how an event works. And 2, you're the least important person. Right? Why aren't weddings set up so that caterers can do their jobs easier? Why aren't, like, a caterer is more fucking important than a photographer or a videographer or any of these people? Like, shut up. Do your fucking job. Do not have them change anything about making your job easier, because it is about what they want. It's about what the bride and the groom want. They are your client. They're the one, regardless of who's paying, that bride and groom are your client. Okay? They're your client. You gotta do what your client wants. Nobody else is going to care about you except you. So shut the fuck up. You're so unimportant in the entire wedding situation. You're there to document the day exactly how it goes. Holy crap. I can't get over the idea of these photographers thinking that they're the most important people, because you're not. You're this concept of, well, why don't they do it the way I want them to do it? Because fuck you, that's why. A good photographer does not need the best lighting. A good photographer doesn't need to be in the best situation to get a good photograph. It's actually about being able to get a good photograph in any situation. You're not always shooting at beautiful venues. It's really easy to go to a beautiful venue and take a good photograph. It is a hell of a lot harder to get a damn good photograph at a fucking convention center. So take yourself out of it. Remember that you're there to provide the clients with a photo, a good photo, and just chill the fuck out. You're not important. You're not that important. Nobody cares. Horrible wedding videographer and photographer experience. I had a bad experience with my wedding photographer and wedding videographer. Different companies, they didn't even know each other. I'm truly upset that they both did me dirty on such a crucial once-in-a-lifetime event. Photographer only gave me photos after months of chasing her down and begging her. Contract said I'd get them 2 months post-wedding. That's a long time. 2 months after a wedding. Okay, so 2 months in a contract. That is a long time. Was this a full 8-hour wedding? 10-hour wedding? 12-hour wedding? 3-day wedding? We did a 3-day wedding. We still had a really quick turnaround time. I don't know what is with photographers and needing like a lot of time to deliver photos. Like I do all my own edits. I have presets I run through. You know, I do a lot. I mean, a lot of my photos are edited through presets. Like that's normal. But like, you know, you're still adjusting things, like you're still making adjustments, but unless you're doing a lot of heavy Photoshop work, your edits shouldn't take that long. I don't know, man. Just get it right in camera. How about that? Just do it right the first time. Get it right in camera, and then you're fine. Then your edits don't take very long. Anyway, okay. So photographer only gave me photos after months of chasing her down and begging her. Contract said I'd get them 2 months post-wedding. After wedding, she ghosted me. No sneak peeks, and finally got me photos. Again, we got another Scottish person in here. Finally got me photos 6 months after my wedding, after I threatened to sue. 6 months? 6 months for photos? Bro, you're done at that. You've forgotten all about the wedding at that point. And then they were missing chunks, like no first look, bridal party missing. Got them all after persistently emailing 9 months later after wedding. Oh, so she gave you photos 6 months and then was missing even more and didn't get back until 3 months later. That was kind of confusing when she worded that. Then I asked for the raws, since she clearly kept missing scenes after culling, and she agreed to provide them for a price, but has again ghosted me. Well, even if she kept them missing scenes after culling, that's not a reason to ask for raws. You would only ask for raws if you didn't like the edit. So you see this with people who aren't photographers. They don't always know what raw means. So there's people that'll say, "Oh yeah, I just want the raw photos, no edits," and they'll get a raw photo and they'll be like, "What the fuck is this garbage?" Because like my camera does. I like some of the way the photos come out directly out of camera, and I try to shoot correctly, but I still do a lot of color edits. You can make a photo look better with an edit, even if you do it really good in camera, but your edit time is a lot faster if you do it right in camera. There you go. She runs a successful business based on social media. Based on social media, I don't, but here we are. Videographer's situation is way worse. He breached the contract and gave me no edited videos other than a 2-minute sneak peek highlight. After months of threatening to sue, I finally got the raw footage, and he said he'd sent me edited videos by mail. A lie. And he has moved on to a new profession. I sued him in court and won, but trying to collect now and may not get in anything. I had to pay someone else to edit my raw footage, which is terrible and missing so much. I've had other videographers look at the raw footage, and they've told me straight up they wouldn't pay $1 for this. It is shitty quality, hard to edit, extremely shaky. The interesting this, that's how it's written. It messed me up there for a second. I verified his business, spoke to his past clients, saw samples of his work, and made sure his company was a registered LLC. I'm so upset by both these situations, and it sucks because both vendors have been able to continue their business without any issues. You said he jumped to a different profession. Oh, videographer no longer does video, but still photographer. Okay, so no, one has been able to continue the profession, the other one hasn't. It sounds bad, but I would really like to hurt their businesses, especially the videographer who never fulfilled most of the contract deliverables till date, and my wedding was over a year ago. He doesn't do videography anymore. Like, how can you hurt his business anymore? He doesn't have one. It's absolutely unacceptable that both can just get away with this scot-free and continue with their lives while my wedding was ruined because of both. Okay. So, yeah, fuck both that videographer and photographer, first off. We'll get that out of the way. Yeah, no, fuck those guys. it's so rare for me to see stories of photographers and videographers breaking contract. I mean, it's the space I'm in, so of course I'm not going to see that and be like, oh yeah, they're out here doing it. But I generally don't see it very often. So it's and these are Reddit stories. I have no idea how true this is. But that's what the contract's for. It's to protect both parties. So like I typically will not accept like if I send out a contract and like the client rewrites something in there, I won't accept those contracts. But if there's certain clauses and stuff that we want to add in, we talk about that. But 6 months for photos is absolutely ridiculous, even under like the worst circumstances, right? And that's something like typically if I know I'm going to be behind on an edit, which I haven't ever been, I'm giving my client something. I would be giving them, if there's a situation where I'm like, I'm not going to have every single photo edited, by the date of delivery, which again, I've never been behind on my photo delivery times. Because I don't put myself in the situation to be, but I would be communicating that with the client. And I think like we get caught up with not wanting to communicate with the clients because it's like, oh, well, maybe this experience was bad, or maybe we're not sure how they'll take it. But like, hey, if I know there's gonna be a delay, that's cool. Like I have people cancel on me sometimes, outside of photography, just regular like canceling me on events. Hell, I had something happen where I had to cancel on somebody, again, outside of professional, and everybody's cool. So in a professional setting, it's the same thing. If you can't make a date or you can't make something, just communicate. It's the most important thing you can do. And I mean, if you're talking a 2-month delivery time and you can't make that, you probably are in the wrong profession. And I'm not like, again, I'm not 100% on board with the poster of this, but the way that photographer treated them, if everything they're saying is true and their contract said 2 months, which is ridiculous, by the way, if you can't get it down to below a month, find a new job. Like your edits need to be faster than your next wedding. If you are doing this as a profession and you're doing it solo, if you have an editor, whatever, they can just focus on editing, you can just focus on shooting, whatever, that's fine. But a lot of these are solo operations, and if you don't get your photos edited before you shoot that next wedding, you will get behind. And I see it I see it. That's why I know. And you don't have to deliver them right away. And if you want to go back and relook at them, fine. But get your edits done. Seriously, like editing is the job. Going out to the events and photographing is the fun part. Editing is the job. So fucking 6 months of editing. Holy fucking shit. Garbage. That person is garbage. I agree that they should not be allowed to be a photographer anymore. I completely agree, but their aggression towards the videographer that is no longer a videographer, obviously it wasn't the right fit for them. It obviously wasn't something that they were able to continue to do. And they pivoted and they left a career. Like, what more can you... It's weird that you're like wanting to punish somebody even more after suing them in court, winning, and they quit their job as a videographer. Like, move on. Move the fuck on. Your wedding is one day out of your entire life. And is it an incredibly important day? Of course it is. And should the vendor do their job and fulfill their contract? Absolutely. But it looks like you fucking got it. You won with the videographer. What more do you fucking want? Sure, the photographer, yeah, fuck that photographer. They shouldn't be working. Well, they should be adjusting their profession. They should be reconsidering how they communicate, how they work with deliverables, but come on, the videographer lost, like, he's done. He's not doing videography anymore. And you sued him and won. You can't punish him anymore. Like, what, you want blood from a stone because they ruined one day of your life? You have 365 of those a year. And if you're good, and most people get fucking 70 years. You're going to be upset about one day. I do this for a living. I would fucking feel like the biggest piece of shit if I fucked up a wedding. Don't get me wrong. I would feel like the most horrible person in the world if I screwed up a wedding. If I screwed it up, if I was even like a fraction of as bad as these guys are. But at the same time, it's one day out of your life. And the fact that people get married like 3 times is never like the most important day of your life. It's not. It's not. It'll be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. Disappointing photos? So we got married 2 weeks ago and just got our photos back. The photographer we used was recommended by our venue, but way out of our budget. We told him what our budget was and that we understood if it was too low for him to take the job. He took it anyway. Okay, I mean, how much lower are we talking? He took it anyway, and my husband and I are both disappointed with the photos. They're basically the same quality that my mother-in-law took with her iPhone, and he only got one pic of our first kiss, and it's just mediocre at best. It feels like he allowed us to go under his normal price and then took pictures of the corresponding quality. Some are blurry, unfocused, and just weird. Yeah, I mean, how much less did they offer him? Like, let's look at these photos. So I'm assuming these first couple are the portfolio photos, which are that one's not bad. This second one here is dog shit. I'm assuming this is one on his portfolio. This is a dog shit photo. I'm not gonna I would love to do portfolio critiques of like other photographers, but I am not mentally ready to have people rip my shit apart. But this is a bad photo. This middle one here is awful. For portfolio, like none of these are good, but like this first one, I can see somebody wanting that type. It's not amazing. It's a really good concept. I think the execution's poor, but like that's not. If somebody sent me that as like I'm a wedding photographer and sent me that photo, I would hope that they had better ones, and that's the true of this last one here. I don't necessarily like the framing, but again, like it's not bad. It's really not. But this second one would give this is a red flag photo. So when you look at somebody's photography portfolio, you want to look at a lot of their photos, or at least a couple different shoots that they've done. And somebody that would pass this off as like a quality photograph is a little concerning, because it's like not a lot of accounting for taste. Like I don't think any of these photos are stunning. Like these are. I'm trying not to be a dick. All right, so let's swipe over and see the photos that he actually took. Oh my fucking god! Attached to 3 pics from his online portfolio, and then 2 pics. One was taken by him, and one was taken by the mother-in-law. So I assume the second one is the mother-in-law, the blurry ass dog, her looking down, and then this other one was taken by him. Yeah, I'm assuming the second one's the iPhone photo, the white balance. Like, oh my, yeah, yeah, it's a bad photo, but we're only seeing one photo, and that's something too. We're getting one photo of how bad this guy is, but I'm not seeing all the photos. But this one is really bad. And looking at the portfolio photos, I'm not surprised. I don't know what he was willing to take it for. I've been told that I'm low sometimes for weddings, but I think weddings are inflated prices. But that's Like, that is not something I'm willing to go to bat and argue with wedding photographers for, but you absolutely fucking overcharge, depending. I think a lot of shitty wedding photographers overcharge, and incredibly good ones can get away with it. You know, if you're charging $5,500 for a wedding, you better give me a reason as to why you're charging $5,500 as a photographer. Incredibly good, you know, photographers that do destination weddings and stuff charge that much, and you better prove that you can. I don't know what their budget was. I've done weddings for as little as $400. They were short weddings. They were small ceremonies, you know, like 10, 20 people, you know, nothing big, nothing major. And that's because that was what their budget was. And I knew I could do the job with a quick turnaround time. And just, you know, like, if you can edit fast and you can do a wedding for $400, it's 4 hours of shooting, $400, $100 an hour. That's low. I'm not going to fucking say it's not, but like, and I wouldn't take that now, but you can do that. And if you edit fast enough, if it takes you even 8 hours to edit, that's still more money than you'd make at like a 9 to 5 job in 2 days. So just, these photos are bad. Like, what are we doing? Just absolutely miserable. So that's how Reddit makes me feel. Reddit is absolutely miserable. I have learned absolutely nothing from reading all of this garbage. I feel no better about myself. And I feel like I just wasted a lot of time. So there we go. That's Reddit photography.